In this particular video, you're going to see me doing the last cuttings on the onglette number 1 that is shaved off on the left side, because I don't want to ruin the beads that's on the inside of the 2 circles where the stone's going to be. I'm going to now show you excuse me, how I can cut deep and steady and take long cuts. You can see the little circle of metal that's been thrown off. When I first started, I couldn't achieve that. Now I can. Now I'm going to use my right-sided onglette number 2 braid cutting tool and go over exactly where I cut with the number 1 graver. Small jabs. I'm not leaning the graver over on the side. I'm holding the graver in a vertical position. I'm not leaning it because the natural formation of the barrel shape of the onglette will achieve that for me. Look at that nice clean cut. Good grief, is that smooth? Is that clean cut? You can see it on the graver now. I mean on the silver. It's cutting all the way back. It is interesting. I just change it and my gosh, you can see the bright cut. That's what I want to get. One continuous cut of metal. I'm going to go down to that longer section, longer part of the so-called pseudo watch case. See that long cut? I'm applying my finger to keep the blade cutting and not letting it drift off. Making sure you can see it. There you go. No, I haven't cut any of those lines in the center with the round or bud burr. I just want to show you how the bright cutting works. I change it, and you can see the bright cut. It's absolutely phenomenal. When this is polished with the rouge and real light triply, my God, it's screaming at you. It's so sharp, so clean. Go to the other side. You can see the little flange of metal being thrown off. Now, if the blade has a little broken edge, it's going to show up on the silver or metal or whatever metal you're using. So you're going to make sure that your bright cutting tool is sharp at all times. I'm holding this graver very securely, very tight, and the way I'm holding my my shellac stick is awkward because I'm making it so it's visible to the movie camera or the video camera. Can you see that shine? Wow, it's screaming at you. Why am I doing this? There's a bit of oil on my fingers, so I'm using a bit of that oil to lubricate the graver a bit more. Can you see that? That's the epitome of bright cutting. It's not the easiest part of the diamond setting or stone setting to do. You gotta have complete control over your hand, your fingers, your eyes, loop. Gravers have to be 100% sharp at all times. There, you can see that. Compare that to the bit of a line cutting I attempted prior to this. I'm going to go over and try and start it up here. And I'm going to transform this eventually to what the so-called pseudo watch case is going to look like. You know, I just go right to the edge of the hole, keep on going, finger on the graver to give it a downward pressure, because I don't want it to slide up and flick up and I'll lose control. Keep my finger on it. Go over it a few more times. Get away from this shellac I don't need. I do this about 3 or 4 times. The 4th time should be the correct depth. How far down would I go? About halfway of the face of the graver. In other words, if I got half of the graver going into the metal, that is sufficient. That is a rule of thumb. Each time I go deeper, I take longer cuts. The first cut is just marking on the surface. Come back and do the other side. Little cuts for the first time. Go right, let the graver point go right into the hole, and dig it out. Go to the next area, dig it out. My next video, I'm going to show you how I will set the stones using those newly made mini posts that I cut out using the round and bud burrs. That's going to be the last video on bright cutting. So we're going to have about 5 videos in this series. Yeah, it's about 30 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. So anything less than that, it's, you know, princess setting was hard. This is triple. It's gotta have complete control over what you're doing. No shortcuts in bright cutting. Boy, it's a lot of work. And yeah, your hands get tired. Sometimes I go for a cup of tea. I usually go for my Earl Grey hot. And I need a cup of tea sometimes because your concentration is it's very high. I usually go to the computer, rest a bit, come back, do a bit more work. Videoing is not the easiest thing to do, but if I can pass on my information to you, hey, I'm happy. And if anybody wants some private tutoring, I'm available. Write to me on my email address, gerrylewy18@gmail.com. I'll respond, and I'm always happy to help a person out. I teach at schools in around Southern Ontario, and I'm going to be in a studio in Michigan in early March. And if anybody wants to have some private tutoring, I'm available. Okay, next time I do a video, I'll be setting the stones in these items. Take care. Bye-bye.